Eu acho que ele tava falando se a gente conseguia ver o link que tava abrindo do PowerPoint, entendeu?
Tá.
Eu acho que não
vou começar aqui, deixa eu ver se tem alguém vendo ainda.
Tá ao vivo.
Eu tô ligado.
Eu vou mandar nos grupos aqui.
All right, and then you guys are able to screen record it, right? I would love to get a copy of this with your Brazilian subtitles. I think that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, sure. You can show your wife too. Just we're just gonna send it to our group so people can start joining in. We have 5 people already.
Okay. No, that's great. I tried to send it out. I posted the link on some of the Brazilian football pages that I'm a part of just to see if it grows it.
Nice. Yep, that's fine.
All right, and all right. I'll just start out in Portuguese and then we will just go back to English. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Fala galera, tudo bem? Boa noite. Aqui é mais um episódio da FCA Live. Quem tá falando aqui é o Christian Marinho. Sou um dos responsáveis por futebol americano na FCA Brasil. FCA, para quem não conhece, é a primeira vez vendo, é um ministério cristão com foco em esporte. Então, a gente trabalha tentando servir a comunidade dos esportes, principalmente dos treinadores, com conteúdo para cada vez melhor servir e cada vez o esporte crescer mais. Esse projeto da FCA Live, a gente está indo com vários treinadores cristãos dos Estados Unidos, a gente vai estar trabalhando para trazer treinadores brasileiros de outros lugares do mundo também. Aqui comigo hoje também está o Leonardo Coutinho aqui do meu lado. O Léo é kicker do Vasco Patriotas agora, jogou ano passado no Blaze. Ele é um ótimo amigo meu. Vasco Almirante, desculpa. Um ótimo kicker, parceirão, sabe muito. E também o coach Chris Husby, o convidado especial da noite. Coach Chris Husby além de treinar especialistas por um tempo, ele é empreendedor no futebol americano, ele tem uma academia de futebol americano focada em especialistas, que é a Special Team Football Academy, lá em Minnesota. E hoje a gente vai estar falando tudo sobre especialistas, kickers, punters e long snappers, tá bom?
Ele foi punter por muito tempo também. Maneiro falar isso, que ele jogou.
Ele jogou também, tentou ir para a NFL. Enfim, vamos começar hoje. All right, coach, it's very good to have you, man. So let's get started. Do you have any first impressions to say?
Yeah, well, thank you all for having me. It's an honor to be able to speak at FCA. You know, FCA does great things. There's a great foundation for everything, Christ-based, fundamentals and sharing it with sports. And it's an honor to be a part of this. So thanks for having me. And I'm excited to share with you, kicking, punting, and long snapping, some different fundamentals, and to help you and your teammates get better in what they do and be a part of your growth and development. So thank you all for having me.
Yeah, man.
So, all right. So we get going. All right. So the topic here is getting the most out of your kicking game, right? So what I'm going to talk to you guys about is different easy drills, techniques, concepts, maybe some scheme ideas that can just help you guys out right away and hopefully be implemented in your training and what you do as a team as well. So just a little bit about me. I know Coach mentioned it. I've been running Special Teams Football Academy for 10 years. I went to the University of St. Thomas, which is in Minnesota in the United States. I pursued the NFL for 6 years. And then when that dream was over, I started training specialists. That was my first opportunity to get in, to be a coach. And then so I've been doing that since 2011. And now I've been training kickers for 11 years. And then being a coach at the high school and college level for 10 years. Every year we train about 75 local Minnesota specialists, and then we also train specialists nationwide through national kicking rankings. It's our evaluation platform to help evaluate kids for preparing for opportunities to play college football. I was told when speaking I need to give kind of a fun fact. I was at the Science Museum in Minnesota. I'm a featured athlete in the sportsology exhibit, the sports exhibit about just movement, and I'm the punter example there. And I guess it was mentioned earlier, I did run a kicking camp in Brazil during the World Cup down in Brazil. So it was a fun opportunity, and hopefully I can come back and run some more camps and help you guys all out in Brazil as well. My purpose for what I try to do is to give back. Again, I mentioned my dreams were to be coach. I want to teach kids what I learned at the highest level that I could make it at, and be someone that can guide you along and help you along earlier and help you have earlier success. Whatever your personal goals are or college goals are, those are my goals and my dreams. And I use that to try to help you along and to customize training for anybody we train, or say anybody that's listening that does want to learn. I'm still a student of the game. I'm always trying to learn, think of new concepts, try to be creative. And ultimately, when I started, it was to try to put Minnesota kickers, punters, and long snappers on the national map collegiately. Below, you'll see some of my mentors. Michael Husted played in the NFL for a number of years. Louis Aguiar was a punter for a number of years. Mike Stock was a longtime special teams coordinator in the NFL. Tom Feely, his son is Jay Feely, a great mentor of mine, been coaching for 40 years. Gary Zahner he's a big time in for a lot of aspiring specialists into the NFL. I learned from the great Gary Anderson, Travis Walsh, and Mark Tomerdahl. They were longtime college coaches as well. So I have a good foundation of coaches that have helped me along the way that I've learned from as well. Some just training history. Just this kind of talks local stuff. Just to we started out. My first camp had 2 trainees, and I've been really blessed that it's grown so much and that we're able to make a big impact. So, we've had over 25 specialists earn All-State. That's kind of the high recognition at the high school level in the United States. Had over 200 plus local trainees go off to play college football. Currently, we have some different college divisions in Minnesota. We have the MIAC, and we have trainees on 6 out of the 9 teams. And then the NSIC division, which is Division 2, we have 12 out of 16 schools have trainees of ours. So I'm real blessed to be able to make that type of impact, to help people use kicking and punting as a way to get a college education. And then below those are a bunch of local trainees of ours that have gone on to play football at different collegiate levels. So it's been a real fun experience. All right, so the presentation we're going to cover in 3 segments. One is ways to keep punting simple. Then we're going to talk about the kicking and the snapping games and some different concepts to help you out. And then just ways to get the most out of your specialists. So if you're a coach watching and you have a kicker on your team, it's a way to just help you get the most out of him as well. So some different concepts and things to think about. All right. So ways to keep punting simple. All right. Punting, out of all the concepts of kicking and punting and snapping, field goals, kickoffs, and punts, punting's the hardest. It's a moving body. It's a moving ball. So these are some of the basic fundamentals that I try to make sure our punters know and learn when they're training. So 1, try to get the punt off in 2 or 3 steps. Okay. The more steps you take, the longer it takes to get the ball off. All right. So our rule of thumb is to try to get the punt off in 3 yards. Okay. Otherwise, anything longer than that, you typically take longer steps, and you are overstriding and not getting enough power. Okay. Straight steps. You always want to walk in a straight path. Okay. If you start zigzagging your path to the ball, it becomes harder to have a consistent drop. Okay. You never want to swing across your body. So when you punt, you want to have a good upswing. You don't want to swing across your body because you don't have as much power when you're trying to punt. Your power zone, okay? Biomechanically in your body, your power zone as a right-footed kicker is between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock. That's where you have the best range of motion in your swing. Or if you're a left-footed kicker, between 10 o'clock and 12. It's where you have the best range of motion. So we never want to swing across our body. We want to come up and through, okay? Consistent ball mold and drop, okay? There's a lot of different ways to hold the football, all right? One of my favorite holds is we call it the handshake grip. So if you're going to shake somebody's hand just like this, you put the tip of the ball right into the webbing of your hand, okay? Put your arm straight, and that ball is turned in for you, okay? So you want to try to have a ball turned in between 10 and 11 o'clock, or as a lefty, 1 and 2 o'clock, okay? This allows you to drive your foot through the fat part of the football to give yourself the most power and be able to compact the ball, if that makes sense. The the biggest key to punting is having a consistent drop. So that ball, if you're trying to keep it simple, should always drop flat or a little bit nose down. Okay, that's the way you got to keep the drop simple. If the ball is twisting in different directions, it's going to give you different ball flight and inconsistency in your punting. Okay. Ball drop angle, like I mentioned before, you want to have the ball held at 10 between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Okay. And you want to drop the ball on the middle to outer half of your kicking leg. Okay. That allows for the best type of power when you swing up and through. You also want to have an ankle and foot lock on the ball. Okay. And the ball you want to compress. If my hand was the foot, you want that ball to compress right across the middle, right across the laces, and foot locked out. If your foot is up, it's going to hit the ball and give it an overend or end-over-end rotation. If it's flat and the ball's flat, it's going to allow you to drive that ball for a spiral to take off your foot, give you a better opportunity for the spiral. Okay, and you want somebody that's an athlete. Okay, because obviously on punt, you're the safety on punt coverage. So you got to be able to track down a guy. So ideally you want somebody that could be athletic enough to track down the punt returner. All right. So here's some photos that I really like. I feel like this is a real good punt progression to see. Okay. So you want to be up and down, kind of a 60-40 lean or nose over your toes mentality. All right. You don't want to crunch too much. You want to still stay upright, kind of just like being an athlete. Okay, you have a good first step. Your first step should be about 1 yard in space, okay? And then your second step should be about 2 yards, covering 3 yards. So your arm right here should have about a 90 to 95% bend in extension, okay? You drop the ball. In this case, this punter right here has a little bit of a nose down drop. That's a little bit more higher level training. So if you're trying to keep it simple, we say flat drop, okay? You got to drop the ball nice and clean. And ideally, you want to make contact on the ball at a 45-degree angle. That's going to allow you to have optimal hang time and distance, and then follow through. So you do have to stay upright. Your knees got to be locked out. Your ankles got to be locked through the swing, the upswing. All right. So I really like this punt progression photo. I think it's a real good visual to see what we're trying to do. Some drills for punters. We work on the drop progression a lot, all right? You got to be able to have that consistent drop. So I'm going to show you a video of one of the drops that we do, okay? One of the drop drills. Okay. All right, first you start off with a kneeling drop, okay? You want to drop, put your knee on the line. You want to practice snapping yourself to the ball.
Are you seeing the video?
Your counter arm comes off 90 degrees, and you want to have a good flat drop where the ball hits the ground and bounces straight up or a little bit backwards.
Hey, Coach.
Yes, sir?
Are you seeing the video or no?
Yeah, I can. Can you see it?
No, we can't.
No,
yeah. Maybe.
Oh, here we go. Can you? Here,
do it in PowerPoint. Oh, yeah.
Now we can see
right,
it.
perfect.
Now we can see it.
All right. Should I start that video over? That is.
Yes,
let me just start the clip over. Okay. Oops. All right. Hold on 1 second here. Okay. All right. So first, you want to start off with you want to kneel on the ground, kneel on a line, and you want to drop the ball on the line. Okay. Your counter arm comes off your body about 90 degrees. And you can see here the puncher has the ball angled in at about 11 o'clock angle. Okay. And it's good to just practice this over and over and over again for muscle memory to try to do the exact same thing every time. Then we progress to standing, or a standing stationary drop. So you get your kicking foot back as if you're in the backswing motion. Again, you still have a little bit of a forward lean. Your arm is extended 90 to 95%. And you want to try to drop the ball around the belly button level. Okay, we call that a drop table. So around your belly button. If you have a lot of wind, you want to drop the ball around your hip. Okay, so you can see that the ball is consistent. All right, next one here is a short step progression drill. Okay, you keep your ball in your hand and you take baby steps. A lot of punters, when they're trying to really crush the ball, really hit the ball hard, they take big steps. So it's a good drill to practice short step muscle memory. Okay, so you're just repeating the drill over and over and over again until it becomes natural, if that makes sense. All right. Next one is walk and drop. Then we progress to make it more lively. All right. You walk and drop. You take your right step, left step, drop. Okay, and you just find a nice little rhythm. You keep going right down the line until the end. So this is a visual for the front and the side angle. I can share these links in the comment section as well.
Yes, that will be pretty sweet. We can share it later.
And then lastly, we have the leg swing line drill. So what you're trying to do is practice kicking your dominant foot, your kicking foot through your right eye. So if you're right-footed, to your right eye, left to your left. Now in this case, this punter's not quite that flexible, but we're working on it in this video. Okay. All right, so let me square that. Okay. Kneeling drop drill, standing drop, short step. So these 5 drills right here are the exact same drills that we just showed in a video. The punting clock, this is a good drill to practice just like a receiver would. So, the wide receiver will catch the ball above his head, to the side, below, and bring it in to cradle it. We do that with punting as well because it's very common to not have a good long snapper or one that's not as polished. So what you do is you practice self-snapping the ball by your feet and then coming up to center. And then practice catching the ball here, bringing it to center. So you want to have the same motion no matter where you catch the ball. Always bring it back to the same spot every time. So it's a real good drill. A pole drill is a real good drill. So if you have a soccer net or a soccer pole or basketball pole, basically what you do is you stand up, you have the pole to your chest, your arms around the pole, and somebody hand snaps you the ball, and you try to catch the ball and then just mold it with your arms extended. All right. You don't want to catch the ball into your body because it takes time to extend it. So you want to learn how to catch the ball away from you. Okay. After your chest, you back up so that the pole is in alignment with your elbows. So then it makes it a little harder to catch. They hand snap it to you. And then where the pole is at your ankle, at your wrists. So all you're doing is catching it with your fingers so that you're trusting yourself to catch the ball with your arms extended and arms out and just with your hands. All right. Live punt rush. All right. This is just trying to simulate a game where you have a snapper and a punter. They snap the ball, and then you try to just send a rush next to him just so they can feel the pressure. Okay. There's a lot of different game simulations you could practice. Punting out of the back of the end zone, punting with pressure, all that type of stuff. Tennis ball drill. So I actually just learned about this drill about 4 or 5 months ago. It's a fantastic drill. It's where you punt tennis balls. Let me just get the link up for you. Let me get the link up for you. But basically what you're doing here is punting a tennis ball, okay? Oh, let me get back to the beginning here. Well, hold on here. I'm sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so why this drill is real good is because the ball is smaller, okay? It has to be dropped in a perfect alignment with your foot to kick it straight, okay? If you drop the ball to the right or the left, it's going to hit off the side of your foot and go in different directions. So it's a real good drill to practice hitting that ball just right on your foot, almost like baseball, trying to hit a baseball with a baseball bat, but it's a real good drill. You can do this as a no step, a 0 step. You can do it as a 1-step punt, a full step punt. You can have somebody hand snap a tennis ball. But over the last 4 to 5 months, I've had my punters do this, and it's really helped correct their upswing. Okay, so you can see in this video, this punter swings across his body a little bit. That's what we're trying to fix, to have him not do that. And so the goal is to try to keep working on the upswing so that you can hit a cleaner ball up and through. Tennis balls are very inexpensive, and it's a real easy to drill to do if you don't have a lot of space. And here is the...
sorry, we got a question here from Victor Fialho. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach, what is the best angle for the arm?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Victor? It's been a while. Well, okay. So if you're holding the ball, just in general, you want that ball in alignment with your hip. Okay. So here's my kicking leg, basically right about here. Okay. You want the arm to be 90 to 95% bent. Your left arm, okay, as you hold the ball, just put it right here on the fat part of the ball, and then your arm comes out 90 degrees. Okay, so it's got to be 90 degrees. If you open up your hands back, it's going to turn your shoulders so that and then you end up swinging across your body typically. So hopefully that helps answer your question. All right. So becoming a versatile punter. So what's important, and that helps you in a game or being recruited at the college level or just helps your team strategically, is to be able to do everything. All right. So traditional punting is basically the traditional punt where you're walking straight and punting straight to go down the field. You want to be able to directional punt as well. Okay. Directional punting can be very easy. It sounds hard, but it can be very easy. Okay. What you want to do with your feet, let's say these are my shoes. All right. All you have to do is preset your feet to the direction that you're going to go. Okay. Keep your body straight to the snapper. And then when the snap comes, you catch it, just turn to where your feet are going, and then you walk straight. So it's just like a traditional punt. You're just walking in that direction. Okay. Here's a video of one of our trainees working on directional punting. You can watch his feet. Let me just get this thing. Okay. So so you can see right now he's just walking right down the middle. It's very important if you're doing the traditional punt or directional punt that you walk straight in the direction that you have to go. I always tell our trainees, walk towards the back corner of the football field. So that way, if you hit your best ball ever, you maximize the distance on the football field. So you can see, this is Mac Brown here. He's walking to the left corner to punt, okay? His feet are preset in the direction he's trying to go. He catches the ball, and he goes that way as well, okay? He does swipe a little bit in his contact or in his swing, but he's real good at making contact on the ball, so he's able to get away with it. He has since gotten better. That right now he's a freshman, now he's a senior. But see, he preset his feet, and then he takes it that direction. You never want to angle your body, out of bounds, because if you shank the ball's going to go out of bounds early. So you want to find the best possible distance to maximize that ball flight, if that makes sense. Let me just kind of fast forward a little bit. So now he's going directional right. Steps right. Now in this video too, we are if we have the volume on, we are working on certain things like trying to drive the ball for distance or to try to get hang time. But I wanted to show you as a teaching point here is that you want to make sure that you are consistent with your steps. Okay. Rugby style. Okay. This is the style where you roll out. You catch the ball, turn, and roll out. Okay. Most people teach it. You can do it as a 2-step, 4-step, 6 steps, or just really roll out multiple steps. You try to get that defense to come in at you, and you can maybe do a fake or do some different things with it. But traditionally, we try to teach 4 steps. So if you catch the ball and you're right-footed punter, right foot, left foot, left foot, swing. It's very rhythmic. All right. What you want to try to do, if you hold the ball just like a traditional punt, as you're rolling out, your foot can still compress on the ball the same way as a traditional punt, and you can get a spiral out of it. You can get a spiral, and we try to drive it in the outer third of the field. If you try to kick the ball in the top half, you're going to get an end-over-end ball rotation, and typically it's lower trajectory, hits the ground, and it rolls. So there's a lot of different styles of doing the rugby, or a lot of different ways of doing the rugby style punt. Okay. Out of the end zone, it's very important to practice that scenario, because if you don't have a good offense and you can't move the ball and you get trapped, in the back of the end zone, you got to practice that scenario. So my approach is that if this is the back of the end zone, You want your heels to be at least a foot away from the back of the end zone. That way, if you get a high snap, you don't want to jump and split your feet forward and backwards and you step out of bounds for safety. So you got to make sure you're at least a foot or 2 feet away from the back line. All right. You need to practice this because this is the time when the long snapper typically gets nervous. All right. And they might snap it high or snap it low or all over the place. You're basically a goalie. You cannot let that ball get past you. And sometimes you got to punt with a 1-step or 2-step. All right. But your goal for out of the end zone is just to get distance. Okay. The Aussie and the pooch punt, that's short range. That's when you're closer. The traditional Aussie way of punting a football is to hold the ball down like this and drop it. Okay, that's kind of hard to do. That's what a lot of the Australians do because they've learned how to do it. Okay, an easy way that we try to teach it is to hold the ball up near the top. So if you have a football with a white stripe, kind of put your fingers around the white stripe. Okay, like you're holding a Coke bottle, and you're just drinking the Coke bottle. I put my pinky on the bottom, all right, like this, so that it helps me control the ball angle. But you want to drop the ball with a 5 or 10% lean forward, and you can turn the nose in just a little bit, okay? You drop this ball in alignment with your thigh, okay? And then with your foot, you try to just drive up through the ball, drive up through it, and you get an end-over-end approach. And if you do it right, the ball hits the ground and bounces sideways, okay? So you can have a lot of control with this punt. So we try to teach guys to try to strive to hit the ball on the 10-yard line because usually that ball should go sideways if you hit it right. So our goal is 10, but our fallback is inside the 20. Okay. One steps. All this is just you start with your feet split and you start on your dominant foot. So if I'm a right-footed punter, I start with my right foot forward, my feet are split forward and backwards, and I take 1 step and punt it. So typically you do this as a warm-up in punting, or if you have to get the ball off quickly because your line just isn't blocking that well, or you're in the back of the end zone. Whatever you want to do, it's good to practice. Again, practice bad snaps. If you get a ball snapped over your head where it goes past you, all right, what you want to do, the key here is if I'm a right-footed kicker, is let's just say I'm running to get the ball, always turn to your left because you can turn, grab the ball, and just quickly kick it with your right foot. So basically 1 step or less. You pick it up, turn to your left, and kick it. If you turn the opposite direction, it takes a few more steps to get it off. And usually at that time, there's defense back there trying to tackle you. So if you're a left-footed punter, you want to turn to your right and just quickly get it off 1 step. Okay, kind of like a goalie drop kick. The goalie's got the ball, takes 1 step, and just quickly tries to get it out. Practice bad weather, all right? You can't control the weather in a game, so it's very important to practice kicking and punting a ball into the wind with crosswind. If it's raining a lot, because unless the weather's really bad, and they don't call the game, you gotta do it, So it's important to practice all weather scenarios, and it builds confidence the more that you practice as well. Just like anything in life, you get confidence by doing and practicing. All right. So my philosophy on directional punting, I know I talked about it briefly, but directional punting can be very easy. It's pretty much what all colleges do. Most of them don't punt down the middle. You can be very effective to your team if you can punt the ball to the sideline and pin that punt returner to the sideline, and your coverage comes down and pins them that way as well. The steps are similar to the traditional punt. You gotta walk a straight line. You got to practice a lot, obviously. Most punters have one side that they're really good at, either to the right or to the left. So strategically for your team, it's important to let your coach know which side you're best at. So you might as well maximize that. And then if you're a coach listening, ask your punter, hey, are you better punting to the left or the right? And you just scheme towards his strength. Otherwise, it just hurts your team. It doesn't help you. Okay.
Coach, real quick, we got a question here. Do Lucas copy? So how do you train to keep your leg straight in the air and don't let it drop it so quickly in your follow through?
Well, muscle memory, you want to try to swing your leg as high as you can. Sometimes it's flexibility. if you're not flexible and you can't get your leg high, that doesn't help. I actually, I will send you guys a video that's a real good stretching video, a dynamic workout for kickers, punters, and long snappers to help with that. But you just got to practice it. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of technique in soccer that's real good for kicking, but then there's some that isn't good for kicking. And one of them is foot placement on the ball and how soccer players swipe their swing usually to get a spin. You just can't do that with punting. So you just got to practice kicking up and through it. And it's just a lot of repetition to try to break habits and build new habits. So, awesome. So I kind of mentioned this, ask your own punter what they feel like their strengths are. If they can kick the ball 10 yards farther being a rugby kicker, you might as well rugby kick. You might as well just give your offense the best chance. Punt with wind if there's crosswind. So if the wind is blowing right to left, or this direction, let's say for the video, you might as well have your punter directional punt this direction so that the wind can carry the ball farther. If the wind is blowing this way and you tell your punter to go this way, that ball is just going to blow and it's just not going to go where you want it to go. So you might as well play with the wind elements as well. And then disguise your punt or not. So I talked about that. If you face your body straight but point your feet to the left or the right, most people don't know to look at that for the punter, but the punter is just pre-aligning where he's going without showing it in his body. So you just got to decide if you really want to show it or not. All right, field goal holding. All right, it's very important to be able to hold the ball correctly all the time. All right. Do you guys use blocks or do you kick off the ground down in Brazil?
Straight from the ground.
Straight from the ground? Okay. All right. So these are the fundamentals that we try to follow. Okay. First, it's important to let the kicker set the spot the spot on the field. Okay. If your field has grass and it's uneven, no use putting the ball in the dirt or a long grass. Let him just sort of find the right spot, and you just got to make sure your snapper can adjust. Okay, so right here, I usually use 2 fingers. So wherever the kicker put his toe, I would put my fingers down, and I'd kind of dig like a little hole with my finger, just to kind of mat the grass down a little bit there, or the turf. Okay, your front knee is on the ground. So if you understand baseball, think of the position of the catcher. He's bending both knees, feet together, and all you got to do is drop one knee to the ground. So I'm kind of in a catcher position like baseball. Okay, your front knee should be on the ground and it should point towards the snapper. That will allow you full range of motion to catch any sort of snap that comes your way. Okay, your knee's pointed at the snapper. Your back knee is behind the spot of the ball, and you use your knee like a backstop. So when you catch the ball, your elbow comes back and hits your knee, and all you got to do is straighten your hand to catch the ball and set it down. It allows you to be more consistent. Okay. You have cadences and gestures. Some guys flick their fingers, some silent count. Sometimes they flick their hand. Whatever, you got to have something so that your kicker and snapper are all in alignment. Okay. Your top hand will rotate the ball. So if I'm catching the ball here and I'm a snapper and it's coming in this way, catch the ball away from your body, almost like a receiver. Okay. My top hand, as I'm bringing it down, starts turning the ball left and here. As I'm catching the ball, bringing it down, my top hand turns the ball, and then my left hand slides up to the back of the ball, and I hold the ball with my top 2 fingers. Okay. And then I can make with my 2 fingers last minute adjustments on the ball. Okay. Does that make sense? So it's easier to do 2 steps than easier to do 2 fingers than 1 finger. Okay. Because you have more control over how that ball spins. Okay. Always hold the ball with in the back of the ball. That way, when the ball leaves, it's easy. If your fingers are here, it could push the ball down and change the ball flight. Okay. So it's better to be back here. Okay. Look down the straw. Okay. Everybody's got a straw, or pretend it's like a pen. Pretend there's a straw down and look down your ball. So if I'm here, most balls lean into the holder a little bit. Just kind of pretend like there's a straw going through the ball and just kind of look down it. So most kickers like the ball up and down, or a little bit of a lean away from them. Okay. Perfect laces. If you go back to the slide, perfect laces is something that your snapper takes care of. And what that means is when your snapper can snap the ball every single time, same revolution, and your holder catches the ball, laces up. Okay? If you catch it here or here, that's a little bit more work for your holder to catch it and rotate it. But if your snapper can be the same way every time, same velocity, you're just catching the ball, laces up, all he's got to do is just set the ball down. It's real easy. Okay? Ball rolling drill. This is a real good drill I learned a few years back. Okay? You have two holders, and what you do is you practice. Let me get the setup here. You roll it back and forth, and you practice spinning it. Okay? So you're in your position. So one guy's facing as if the snapper's coming back. They're snapping from one direction. The other guy's snapping from the other direction. But this is a real good drill to practice catching the ball, molding it, and twisting it. So I really like this drill as a way to practice. Okay? So I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this link in the comment section here. Okay. Practice rep holding. All right. So basically, this is just an example of what I was talking about as well. So okay. Catch the ball, set it down, lean. So this, you can use this as a good example to just to practice it, to exemplify what you should do. Okay. We practice also catching the ball in different spots. Sometimes the ball will be down by your feet. Sometimes it's going to be over here. Sometimes it's going to be over here. Sometimes you got to stretch for it, or it's above your head. Again, it's important to practice every potential scenario because it's real hard to be consistent as a snapper if you don't put practice into it. So here's a link. Here's that link as well. All right, field goals, okay? Field goals is doing the exact same thing every single time, okay? It's kind of robotic, but it's not. All right, you got to take your steps the same, your steps over the same, and you just got to do the same thing over and over and over again. So plant foot and ankle spacing, okay? You don't really have a block, but if this was my block or like my spot right here, a good rule of thumb is to have your plant foot, which is your non-kicking foot, about a shoe length distance away. What that allows you to get proper spacing from the ball so that you can maximize your power. If you get real close to the ball, if your plant foot gets real close to the ball, you jam yourself, and most kickers wrap their foot around the ball, and the ball goes in different directions. So it's important to have good spacing. Okay? Since you kick off the ground, you want your heel to be in alignment with the ball. So I guess here's my shoe. All right. Should look like this. All right. Ankle to heel in alignment with the ball. All right. Steps backwards, anywhere between 2 to 3 steps back. Okay. As long as you're within about 3 yards of the spot where you kick. If you're farther away, you take longer steps and you lose a lot of power. So whatever you take 2 or 3 steps back, don't be too deep, and they have to be the same. Okay. Yeah. When you get back to your last step in the backwards approach, all right, you want to then align yourself with the upright, make sure you're square. Then you take your 90-degree steps over, and that has to be the same every single time. Okay. Kicker nods when he's ready. Got to make sure you're on the same page, that holder knows when the kicker's ready. Okay. Your approach steps need to be the same. You need to always walk your left foot or your non-kicking foot goes towards the plant spot. Your right foot steps in alignment with where they're going to kick the ball. Just got to keep it linear and keep it straight. Okay. Attack the plant foot. All that means is just take your approach towards where you're going to plant and end up. Leg and ankle lock. In your body position, you need your hip or your knee, ankle, and foot all locked out. Okay. It's kind of like a penalty kick shot in soccer where your foot's like this, but you just got to get your heel a little lower, and you got to roll your foot in. So the metatarsal bone, which is that little nub on your foot, but like right here on my hand, makes contact with the ball. It's going to allow the hardest contact point for that ball. Chin to chest, eyes down. Basically, your body position is, if I was kicking to the right, if I was right-footed kicker, my chin is at my chest, and I'm just looking at the ball, okay? A lot of coaches say head down, and although technically that's right, most kickers will go like this. and then they crunch. And when you crunch, you can't swing your leg as high. So you want to stay upright, body positioned upright, chin to chest, looking down at the ball. Okay. The metatarsal bone, I talked about that. It's that little bump on your big toe up by your ankle. That's the hardest spot that you want to strike the ball. And then follow through. You always want to swing towards your target. So soccer players, this is challenging because most soccer guys swing across their body. Okay, you want to swing your leg up towards the upright. So that is a hard fundamental to break for soccer guys. Okay, drills for kickers. Okay, these are a lot of the drills that we run guys through. Dry runs. That's just doing the whole swing practice on air without a ball. You're just practicing your steps back, over, and through the ball. Counter arm drill. I really like this drill. Basically what you're doing is you're in stance. Okay, your left arm, your counter arm is at shoulder height, pointed right towards the upright, and then you go through and swing, and you try to come up and swing and kick your hand. Okay, as long as your hand's pointed right down the middle of the uprights, it's a good muscle memory drill to teach your leg to swing up and through. Okay, kick and skip. A lot of soccer guys, when they kick, will kick and fall to the side because that's what they do when they kick the ball. They fall off the side. You got to skip through. So just even practicing a skip, a no-step swing where you just swing back, forward, and just try to skip, or a one-step, you just got to practice that to get that muscle memory. No-step field goal pop. Basically what this is you just plant your foot next to the ball, you open up your stance, and you just try to swing and kick the ball as a warm-up just to try to get a good end-over-end ball rotation, okay? It's just a good warm-up drill, and it's a good drill to focus on foot-to-ball contact, okay? One-step field goals, basically that's you take one step back, one step over, and you start with your kicking foot forward, and then you're progressing further back, but just a way to warm up your leg, build some leg strength, and then you go into full approach, okay? Angled field goals. That's basically where you don't kick the ball down the middle, you kick from a hash or kick from the sidelines, okay? It's a real hard drill, but if you can, it helps you with accuracy. So your uprights, when you're down the middle, look like this, all right? And then when you get to the sidelines, it looks like this because of the perceived angle. So if you can get real accurate kicking from an angle, when you kick down the middle of the field, it should look super easy, okay? So practice kicking from the sideline. Baseline upright kicks, all that is you kick from the back of the end zone line and you try to kick up and just kick you're in alignment with the uprights and you just try to kick the uprights. It's an accuracy drill. It's real hard to do, but it can help you. It's important that you swing hard through the drill so that you don't kind of baby step your swing and change your technique for that, okay? Goal line crossbar drill. All that is you kick from the goal line and you kick it up and try to elevate over the crossbar at 10 yards away. And then you move closer at 9, 8, 7. It's a drill to help you get lift on the kick. All right, leg swing balance drill. This is a nice drill that you guys can do at the house, at your, on a bench at the park. All right, we did this with our kicker who we had to go inside because of the weather. So he's balancing right here on a bench, and he's practicing his backswing and having full leg control through his swing and coming up and through. It's very important to have ankle and knee stability on the left side, and obviously have the exact same swing every time. So this is a real good drill that everybody can do in the quarantine times. If it's that time you're watching, you can do this at your house or go to a park bench or anywhere like that. So it's a real good drill. Here's the link. Notes. Yep.
Hey, Coach, we got a question here from Lucas Dantas.
Yeah.
Is it advisable to take a small step before taking the first step with your kicking foot?
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I forgot to mention that. So there's a few ways that you can approach the ball in the field goal stance. One is as a two-step kicker. So you're in your stance, you go right, left, and then swing. 2 steps, very common. What he's referring to is a jab step. So if you're in your stance, you take a little small step, and then right, left, swing. That's very normal too. Either one works. The biggest key is that you get the kickoff in the right amount of time. So whatever the operation time is for your field goal unit, you just got to get off in time. So the jab step still works, still good. It helps guys feel like they get a little bit more momentum in their kick. So both ways are good. So yes, both are good, and you can do that as long as you get the ball off quick enough. Kickoff fundamentals. All right. Kickoffs, approach it the same way as field goals. Okay. Whatever angle you come in at a field goal, let's say it's like a 45-degree angle, try to come in along the same alignment on your kickoffs. That way you practice the one leg swing angle. Okay. Your alignment is you're still facing your target, just like on field goals. Then you take your 90-degree steps over. Okay. Starting point, it really doesn't matter to me. Typically between 5 and 12 yards is very common. All it is extra steps to get there. So the benefit could be is you have more steps to build momentum and speed to the ball, controlled speed, or more time to get off your line and get off balance. So you just got to find that right starting spot that works for you. Okay. Steps are equally spaced. We don't want to stutter step because it throws rhythm off and the kickoff coverage off. And then hurdling through your kick. Okay. So all the soccer kickers out there, when you kick the ball and then land on your kicking foot, it's good for kickoffs. You just want to drive up and through. So here's a hurdle drill that we run through our kickers to just help them progress and learn to properly hurdle. Okay. Oh no, this is perfect kickoff technique. Okay, so this is one of my trainees. I've been training him for a long time. He's a student of the game. And the biggest thing for kicking and punting is not just to be able to kick the farthest ball possible. You got to pay attention to the details. So if you watch him, he's got good body control. He drives his leg up and through. Okay, let me restart that. Okay, your head is in control. You got good equal steps. You got a real good backswing. Okay, your eyes are down at the ball, chin to chest. Okay, this guy's only like 5'7", 5'8", so he's not tall, but he can kick the ball out the back of the end zone now. This right here he was in, just finished high school. Now he's a senior in college. All right, good follow through. You want to drive your leg up and through. So this, in my opinion, is a perfect example of a real good hurdle technique following through the ball. Okay, he used this ball as a guide. It's 1.5 yards away. He tried to hurdle over the ball. So you can put something in the way to try to get yourself over it to really hurdle through. So I really like how he does it. I think he's one of the best at the kickoff hurdle. Here's the link for the video. All right, drills for kickoffs. Okay, so these are a lot of the drills that we run kickoffs through. This is the progression video that I like to run guys through. We always practice. We practice without a ball, and then we practice with a ball. Okay, so I'm just going to let it play once it gets going here. Okay, so he practices no step, swinging back, and then hurdling. So he's just practicing the whole motion of going back, control through, up, try to get your leg as high as you can to build up strength in the quad. Okay, come up and through. Okay. Then we progress to try to kick. So this is like an open stance. You wind back and swing and try to drive it and then try to hurdle. It's really hard to do, but if you can master it and kick a good ball, you're good. Okay. Then we progress to one step. We progress from the start or the end point to the start. Okay. So we're practicing doing a one-step kick, getting a real good hurdle. A lot of times we use a line to try to hurdle over as a visual, and then we try to kick it. Okay. You want to stay tall and try to drive that ball up and through, okay? And then we go from a field goal approach. We practice the hurdle, and then we try to kick it. So this video basically goes from beginning, no step, to full no step, okay? So I'll just let it play for a quick second so you can see it. It's important that you take your step line to the tee, okay, right like this. You don't want to zigzag in your approach. So this guy, kicker Carson right here, does a real good job stepping towards the ball, as you can see. Okay, and here's full steps. We just do a practice. All right, now he does kind of zigzag just a little bit there, but you want to try to keep that straighter. Okay, okay, and then I believe he kicks it on this one. So up and through. All right, so that's a real good drill that I like to run guys through, so you can use this as a visual. Okay, directional kickoffs. All right, basically you're kicking at 90 degrees. Here's the ball, here's you. All right. If you're going to angle it, you do the exact same steps, but pre-angle where you're trying to go. Okay. Or you disguise the steps. Okay. So what that would be is, let's just say for the visual, this is where I start to kick the ball here. If I wanted to kick at an angle, my starting spot now is here. Okay. So if I'm trying to disguise it, all right, I need to end up here, but make it look like a real kickoff. So I step back, I end up taking 1 or 2 extra steps back, and then 1 or 2 steps over. So it allows me to get from to make it look like I'm doing a real step approach to go down the middle, but it's getting me to the point where I need to start as if I was doing an angled kickoff. Does that make sense? Does the visual help? Okay. Pooch kickoffs, it's like a touch pass in soccer. You're just trying to drop the ball near the sideline, 20 to 30 yards downfield. It's like a touch pass in soccer. It's real easy. You don't even hurdle. You lean back, just try to get some ball flight and land that ball in where your coverage can get there and cover the ball. Okay. Squib kick is basically where you try to drive the ball down and you get an end over end ball roll down the field, and you just try to keep it out of the hands of the best athletes on the field and just kind of get the ball downfield. Target practice. I love this drill. If you're comfortable with it, with your coach, basically what you try to do, and just think of it like a penalty kick shot in soccer, is you try to drive that ball right at that front lineman on the kickoff return. He's usually the slowest, usually can't catch. Try to get it to just ricochet off his body, and you might be able to get the ball. So we practice that just in case. And you got to make sure that your head coach is cool with that scenario, because if it doesn't work and nobody's ready for it, it doesn't help. So we give a guy a pad, a shield pad, and we just practice it. So here's a video of us trying to practice it. Okay. Soccer guys should be pretty good at this, at directing that pass. We just try to hit that guy. Okay. And it bounces off him, and hopefully you get it back. It changes the game real nice. And if you miss the guy, it just becomes a squib kick. It becomes a squib kick, down the field. So if you can practice the target practice and you hit that guy, it's real nice. But if you miss, it just goes down the field. So I really like this as a drill to practice. And again, most guys who play soccer, it's easy. It's an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I did this last year. It was really nice. Yeah.
Oh, it changes momentum real quick.
It worked. Yeah.
Onside kicks, there's a lot of different things to do. You typically only do the surprise onside kick once or twice, but I think it's important for kickers to practice it every day at their lessons or their practices or when they kick on their own. Just only devote like 5 to 10 reps a day working on one particular kick. Okay, you have the surprise onside kick. You have the target kick that we just showed, squib kick. There's various onside kicks where you get creative and angles. The surprise side kick, I love it. It's becoming more popular. I'm just going to show you a quick video for those that don't know it. But the surprise onside kick, you line up as if it's a regular kickoff, all right? And then as you approach the ball, you slow down just a little bit. You drive your foot on the top of the ball, and it just dribbles a few times, and you try to self-recover it in 10 yards, okay? This changes the game. Now, the school that I coach at, the year I didn't coach there, our kicker did this 3 times in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, and the video went viral all over the United States. But we recovered the same onside kick 3 times. Okay, this changes the game if you can do something like this. If your frontline guys are backpedaling too early. Okay, so I think it's important practice. It's very popular to do now, but man, it can really change the game quickly to just get your own kick. And it feels real good as a kicker,
I think that I saw this video.
Yeah.
It was last year.
If I can find it, it's Maple Grove. They scored like 21 points in like 2 minutes, and they came back and won. It was amazing.
Yeah. I think that I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the year before, the head coach made me, special teams coach, and the kicker practice it like 100 times in 1 week. And then next year, they used it. It was the 1 year I coached at college, and he used it. It was amazing. So it felt real good to be a part of that. So I'll put this link in the event notes here so that you guys can see a real good technique of how to visualize it. Joining track, okay? Maybe, if you guys have track as an option at school, depending on where you're at and your age, joining track's real good. Doing hurdles, long jump, high jump, triple jump, it's all really good for explosiveness for kickers. So I encourage guys to go out for track if they have that opportunity. All right, long snapper fundamentals, okay? Some of the key basic things is that you need to have a good base. Your feet need to be parallel, okay? You can't be offset in any way because your body's going to snap that ball in that direction. So your feet need to be parallel, okay? You need to have a little bit of a knee bend, okay? You need to have a flat back. So as you bend down, think of the body position like you're doing a deadlift, okay? Your knees are bent, your body's over it. If that helps with the visual, kind of like a deadlift, okay? You need to have a good flat back. Hands on the grip, okay? You basically hold it like it's a quarterback, okay? Your guide hand, there's a few different ways. The most popular is to put your middle finger on the seam. Another common one is pointer finger on the seam. But you want to make sure that your thumbs are about 2 inches apart, okay? And then again, at that point, you got to just find the right fit to get the most consistent snap, okay? It can get very technical, but if you're looking for very simple philosophies, here or here are two of the best, okay? Good follow through. Your hands need to snap through, thumbs up and out. So comes up and through, and everything's got to be the exact same thing as you snap through. Okay. The ball air valve. Okay, so this is for snappers and punters. All right. I learned this from Kevin McDermott. He was the long snapper for the Vikings for the longest time. All right. What he said is if your snapper if you're right-footed punter, if he can snap it with the air valve in his hand, the way it comes out, the punter, if he's a right-footed punter, should catch the ball where the air nozzle is facing him, okay? The reason this is important is most punters, when they drop the ball leans forward, okay? So if the ball rolls forward and you punt the nozzle, there's not much give in it. It's a very hard surface. And he said that as a punter, you could lose 5 yards in your distance. So if you can snap the ball where the nozzle is facing the punter, and it gives you 2 to 3 panels of the ball where you can compress the ball the best way possible and hopefully give yourself the best distance. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's like a little technical thing that could make a big difference.
Wow, blow my mind, man. It makes complete sense. That's crazy. It's so detailed.
What's funny as a punter is I never even thought about that, so it's just like one of the little small things in the game that can make a big difference. Okay, so here's a few drills that are real simple. Laying on your back, snapping up and through, working on consistency. So we're trying to get that snapper to go up and down the exact same time. You snap low, get real good at that, snap real high, try to get real good at that as well, okay? That's a real easy drill that you can have your snappers do, okay? A pull drill, okay? So there's a pull drill for snappers, okay? What you do here is you find a target. It could be a garbage can. It could be your upright. It could be a soccer goal, all right? You start real close at 3 yards, and you just try to snap and hit it, okay? Try to get 2 or 3 in a row. See how consistent you can be, all right? See if you can hit it. And then after you've done it, then you go farther away. So 3 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, 9, until you get to 15 yards, which is typically the punt distance for snapping. So it's a good progression drill. You can have competitions with your snappers. You can have 2 snappers going head-to-head, and whoever does the best wins or gets to start or whatever. So here he's starting out at a distance. Now he's 2 yards farther. This snapper right here has got a very good size. He's got an NFL-type frame. He's currently in college. Sometimes you're going to miss, but aim small, miss small, right? If you've heard that phrase. So right now he's aiming for a pull that's like 3 inches wide, which is not as wide as a full body. So it's real good. So if you barely miss, it's still a good thing, okay? So this is just a video to show you that you can just progress in your distance to get better, okay? So here's the link for that for you listeners. Technique breakdown, okay? Let me just get this link up. Okay. If you were going to look at snapping as being robotic, this is kind of what the motion looks like. Okay. You drive your stomach up. Okay. Head comes through, hands come up through, and then you snap. So this, not that you want to be robotic in how you snap, but this is essentially the motion in slow motion. Does that make sense? So this is a good video. Try to follow as well. Okay. If you're really trying to get technical about the follow through. Okay.
Coach, how do you feel about lifting the ball a little bit before starting the motion?
Yeah. Okay. So it's okay. So if your ball's on the ground, it's okay. We call it a hitch. If you hitch up a little bit so that it helps you get the ball through, that's okay. But the higher the ball comes, the slower it is to get the snap off, and the defense starts moving. So if you, so, and then it's wrist speed, how quickly you can snap it. So if you got a real slow snapper, that doesn't help. But you can get away with it a little bit. But a little bit up and back is totally okay, as long as it doesn't get real high. So yeah, a small hitch is okay. Yeah. All right. So this is kind of from a coaching standpoint, ways to get the most out of your specialist. All right. First of all, you got to be positive with them. You know, it's kickers are thinkers. We like to think. We're OCD. We like to do the exact same thing over and over and over again. Anything that's different drives us nuts. So you got to be positive. It does not help a kicker's mental stability to be yelling at them. You know, they already know they missed the field goal. They didn't try. So just try to be positive with them. Don't get rid of the kicking game just because you had one miss. All right. You're trying to build the confidence of your kicker. Hopefully at some point in the season, he's going to kick a game winner for you. Just don't get rid of kicking just because you missed one ball. Okay. I see it all the time. You got to do game scenario training in practice. All right. You know, randomly in the middle of practice, call kick a field goal in. You know, it's before halftime or whatever. Or, you know, kick a game winner, and if you make it, the team doesn't have to run. You know, some of that's kind of common sense, but just try to have scenarios for your kicker and punter to do in practice so that they're not just doing it in a game and they've never practiced it before. Giving them space or talking out. Okay, let's just say your kicker missed. You got to know your kicker. If he gets real upset with himself, it probably doesn't help you as a coach to go over there and start yelling at him because he's already made it. Maybe give him some space. Let him think it out a little bit, okay? Sometimes not the kicker's fault. Sometimes the hold was wrong and the ball should have been here, but it was here. Sometimes the snap was off. Sometimes the blocking wasn't good. So it's not always the kicker's fault, but it's easy to blame the kicker. So I'm just kind of giving us kickers a pass a little bit that it's not always our fault, okay?
Thank you, Coach.
Exactly. There we go. Forget the last rep, all right? You might kick 3 field goals in a game. You maybe missed the first quarter kick, but now you might be needed to kick the game winner or the kick to tie the game. So you just got to learn how to let go of that one kick. It's not going to make or break you. It's almost impossible to go 100% in a season. So it's good to have high goals, but you can't let yourself down if you miss one kick. You're probably, you know, if it's amateur adult football, chances are you may not have a real good holder or a real good snapper. So it might not be your fault that you missed. So that's why you can't get all upset that you missed one kick. Okay. Know what your strengths are. Obviously, as a coach or a kicker or punter, you got to know what your strengths are and tell the coach that, or have the coach ask the player what you're good at, and then you strategize around their strengths. Visualize the punts, visualize the kicks. It's important to, you know, visualize your body going through the perfect motion. You'll be surprised how well that can help. Keep them active in games. If you can get a kicking net, that's awesome. Don't let them just stand around and practice. Have them work on drills. Keep them moving, interact in the practice and in the games. The worst thing that can happen is your kicker stands around for 3 quarters in a game talking to his teammates, and all of a sudden he's got to go in and kick the ball. So figure out a way to keep him moving. You know, for me, when I kicked and punted, I always did practice swings on 3rd down just in case, and I always faced the direction that the team was going so that I could practice with the wind in my face or back so that I can kind of get myself in the best moment and element possible. Again, try to get a kicking net. Allow them to kick at halftime so that they can get warm as well. A few more tips. try to find 5 to 10 more minutes in practice to practice kicking and punting. All right. Everybody says special teams is a third of the game. Well, you got to also practice like it's a third of the game as well. Maybe you find another coach that can at least be with the kicker to make sure that he stays on task and practices. Okay. Again, practice real reps. I saw statistics 2 years ago that 20% of the punts and the field goals in a game or in a season only happened down the middle of the field. So 80% of the kicks and the punts were from the hashes. So you might as well practice what's more realistic in a game. In the off season, try to identify 1 or 3 potential field goal holders or snappers to practice with leading into the season. Okay. Have a kicker ball bag. Nothing's worse in a practice when every football has been allocated in practice and the kicker's got no ball or 1 ball and he kicks it and goes and chases it, kicks and goes chase. Try to have 3 to 5 footballs so that guy can actually practice, okay? And it's got a K on it or special teams or whatever, and nobody touches those footballs except for the specialists, okay? Send them to a camp with quality instruction and competition. So any of you Brazilians that happen to go to the United States for school or to visit or vacation, there's a lot of kicking camps everywhere. Obviously, I'd be happy to help you out personally. Otherwise, there's kicking coaches in other states. You can do virtual lessons as well. I offer that, and we can help you out. The Fourth Down Experience podcast is a special teams podcast that I run with another co-host, Brian Jackson. He's a kicking coach, great coach. And we talk to NFL kickers, punters, and long snappers about kicking, punting, and snapping, the strategy, how they got to where they were at, what did they do. And you can learn a lot by listening to what other people did. So it's on Spotify, it's on Google Apps for Android, it's on iTunes. So if you want something to listen to and learn, the Fourth Down Experience podcast, real good to listen to. Okay, one of my last few slides, off-season stuff, okay? Ideally, your kicker or you as a kicker practices year-round, okay? In the winter or off-season, try to practice at least once a week, up to 3 times a week, just to keep a rhythm so you don't lose it and then start over, okay? In the summer, leading up or before your season, practice 3 to 4 times a week, okay? 40 to 50 reps, quality over quantity, okay? Practice in a gym if you have to, in a net, a batting cage, an indoor facility. You can still practice. I learned recently, I never thought about this, you can buy Nerf footballs that are basically made of styrofoam. So if you have a facility where you can't punt a big football because it might break something, you can buy a styrofoam football and kick it into a wall, okay? I'm going to start buying some of those because I think it's a great tool to help you kick in like a gym or somewhere where there's not enough space and you don't want to break lights, okay? Obviously, find winter camps if they're available where you live, okay? As a kicker, punter, and long snapper, you need to be explosive. You need to have flexibility, core strength, agility. So stretch, do plyometrics, box jumps are good, doing ladders for fast feet, single leg workouts, strengthen your lower body, anything to develop fast twitch muscles where you can explode. Yoga and Pilates is very popular. And then cross train, play another sport, work on your footwork. Okay. In season, kick 3 to 4 times a week. Always work on drills. Always try to get better. Maybe high rep count at the beginning of the week. And then as you get closer to the game, just a few reps to fine tune, maybe 10, 15 reps. You still want to maintain muscle. So as the season progresses, your body breaks down. Probably a chance that you also play another position. Maybe you're the running back and the kicker or quarterback. Your body's going to break down from getting tackled. So just try to maintain and lift about 50 to 70% of your max just to keep that muscle strength going, okay? Again, core strength, ladders, stretch before and after practice, ice bath, hot tub is very important. And then maybe even create a different strength program for your kickers if you can do that, all right? Something that's a little bit more tailored towards their abilities, okay? As I wrap this up before we do questions, just a little bit about what we do in case you're interested. Like I said, if you're in the United States, we can always meet up. If you're in Brazil, we do virtual lessons or online stuff just like this, where we will evaluate your film and talk it out, okay? We focus a lot on fundamentals and drill work. We have good player-to-coach ratio. We pride ourselves in quality instruction, and then we compete to keep getting better, okay? Private lessons, small group. We have camps. We've had some Brazilian kickers over the years come to our camps and train. So whatever works for you, we'll make it work out. We'll make it affordable for you as well. Financially, whatever you can afford, we'll make it work out. But probably virtual lessons and evaluations like this through computer will probably be the best scenario for everybody. And then we also have connections to college coaches. So if you are a Brazilian high school exchange student, we can help connect you to colleges as well. As long as you have the student visa and everything aligned visa-wise, we can try to help you get exposure to the college coaches. All right. That was a lot. All right. So what kind of questions do we have as well as we wrap this up?
All right. So first of all, I just want to thank you, Coach. I don't want to be biased, but I think that was the best live that we did. There's a lot of content. I really loved
There we go.
Exceeded expectations for sure. So nice, good stuff. So Leo, that's a kicker. He gauged some questions before the live from other kickers in the country. So he will shoot you a couple questions.
Yeah, sure. Ask away.
Yeah. Actually, this was a masterclass. Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
But that helps you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, Coach. Actually, you answered most of my questions. So, but I have to. Let me see. Here. What are you looking for in a kicker? Like, what are you looking for in a tape? Let me see.
An ideal kicker?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Sure.
What are you looking for?
It would be nice if the kicker played soccer. Okay,
when you watch some types, when you watch some tapes, or are you looking for a kicker for your team?
Okay. So kicking and punting, it's basically leg speed and technique. Okay, you can be 6 feet tall, you can be 5'5". I mean, it doesn't really matter your height. Although the leg leverage, long legs helps, it's leg speed and technique, and that's pretty much all it is. And then muscle to drive the ball. So, I mean, those are the things I look for: leg speed, consistency. Anything that anything that can drive the ball straight, willingness to learn. That will take criticism and critique and just wants to get better. Those are the things I try to look for.
Yeah. Would you rather consistency or range in a kicker?
I would rather have consistency, because it's very rare in a game that a kicker kicks a 55-yard field goal. Maybe before halftime, maybe to win the game, last-second field goal. There's usually only probably 2 game-winning scenarios in a season ever. So somebody that can get me 45 yards and closer and make the kick close to 100% of the time would be more ideal. So I would take consistency over just a big leg that kicks the ball everywhere.
Okay, thank you. I think that I have one more. When you talked about the hang time, for how long the ball should be in the air?
So on punting, we keep it very simple. All right. So we say an ideal punt is if the hang time number matches the distance. So if you kick the ball 45 yards, it should be a 4.5 second hang time.
Okay.
40 yards, 4.0. So if you take your hang time and just make it a 10-digit number, that's like kind of ideal arc range in distance. If you go 60 yards, 6-second hang time would be great. Because you don't want to outkick the coverage. You don't want to just drive it downfield with any without hang time, and the punter returner can get the ball and just run upfield. So ideally, hang time matches the distance. On kickoffs, I mean, if you're talking like, say, Division I ready kickoff guy, you want a guy that can kick it 60 to 65 yards and close to a 4-second hang time on kickoffs. So that would be like a Division I standard.
Yeah.
NFL standard, 75 to 80 yards and probably a 4.2 to 4.3 second hang time. That's kind of the high NFL standard. So anything below that, it's probably good depending on what you need, but that's kind of the bar, that you want to strive for.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. That's
Yeah,
all.
you're welcome.
Yeah, Coach, we got just 2 more questions coming from the guys in the live, and then we're ready to close it out. Rafael Ramos, right here. Coach, what do you think about the fly kick on kickoffs? Are you familiar with it?
The ball flight on kickoffs?
I don't know. I think he was referring to a special technique. I'm not familiar with the fly kick.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with that term, but if he means pooch kick, that's where you kick the ball to the side and try to drop it 30 yards downfield. I don't really know that term, but hopefully, Leonardo, your last question about ball flight, hopefully that helps. But I don't quite know what a fly kick is.
Got it. Yeah, probably should be flight time. Yeah. So all right. So, Coach, how would you manage? How would you manage practicing distance and consistency during practice? How often should we practice distance and consistency? Ooh, that's hard.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining, Joao. It's nice to see you here. Practice consistency first, but the distance comes with technique. All right. So just keep trying to polish your technique. It's just like golf or any sport. The more precision you have in how you swing, the distance comes with precision and muscle strength, obviously, and leg speed. So you're more valuable to your team to be consistent. And then obviously you want to be able to show that you have range as well. So I would just say, just spend more time just getting your technique right and doing the little things, because when you do the little things, the big picture is really nice of how you kick and punt. And I just realized I was setting the links in the private chat versus the live comments. So you'll have to share those links with everybody.
I shared already. I was managing that. It's I got it out.
Oh, okay.
All right,
perfect.
Yeah. And the last question to close it out. During punt from Paulo Gustavo Borges Silva, he's saying like the first step in punt is your kicking step. It's your strong leg, right? As soon as you get the ball, your first step should be from your strong leg, and then the second.
Well, yeah. So if you punt with 2 steps, it's your right, left, swing. So your kicking foot, right, left, swing. You could have a jab step, which you would jab with your left foot. It'd be like just a small step, and then right, left, swing. So you could do a jab step as long as it doesn't slow you down. But hope that answers your question. But also make sure your steps are straight and not stepping across, because that'll change your body position and ball drop.
Awesome. All right. I think that's pretty much it, football wise. And then just to close it out, we are a faith-based organization, as we were speaking, and then we recognize that sports can be a way of God using us to serve people and to make the sports world a better place, honestly, to pour into people. So getting that idea, I wanted to ask you, you as a Christian, how in your coaching career and in your life do you feel like having God alongside you made you a better coach and a better person?
Yes, I think it's very important. It's important to me to have God in my life. He's there for help, there for strength, to help you get through tough times. As a coach, whether I'm coaching just a kicker in a lesson or coaching at a camp or at a game, I always pray before it, that God guides me in how I speak, and that I speak from the heart, and that I can give the best guidance possible. And we've run a lot of real good camps, and we've had a lot of real good games. So I think God has been helping me guide them. I never thought I would be a football coach or a kicking coach ever in my life, and I learned that it was probably God's positioning to help me influence the largest amount of kids possible and help them use their kicking ability to teach them life lessons, about sacrifice and all the different life lessons that come with sports, but also to help them get a college education. So I think that was God's calling for me to be able to influence athletes and help change their lives that way. And I've had a lot of parents tell me that they've seen positive changes in their kids in some of the things that I teach them and how they go about their life. So, to me, God's very important in how I coach and all that. And then obviously personally, for personal strength and what I try to do and lead by example and always try to do the right thing. So I think it's been very important to have him as a part of my life.
Awesome, man. And then invite you to give us just final considerations to everyone watching it from Brazil, and like just general tips for specialists out there watching the live.
When in doubt, always go back to the basic fundamentals. Okay, if you have a bad day, it's going to happen. You're going to have a bad day kicking, punting, or long snapping, or being a quarterback, or whatever position. When in doubt, just go back to the basic fundamentals of how you learned from the beginning and focus on those little things, because chances are it's just your foot that's a little off, or the ball tilt's a little wrong, or your follow through and you just developed a bad habit and you can fix it. So when in doubt, anything in life, obviously, call to God if you're having an off day or something happened in life and it's just causing you some confusion or whatever. But in sports, just go back to the basic fundamentals for whatever position you play and just keep practicing and it'll get better.
Yeah, coach, let me ask you, can we translate those slides and share?
Yeah. Translate whatever you
it
want.
Will help a lot. Yeah, I think it will help a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Thank you so much for coming for joining us.
Yeah.
People asked in the comments if you were planning on doing a camp in Brazil.
Please come to Brazil, coach.
Yeah, and
well, my man Clayton, I've been talking with Clayton, and we were hoping to have a camp over the summer, like June, July, that time frame, or over the winter, like December, January, and obviously, hopefully, with the coronavirus, that all settles down. But I would love to do a little Brazil tour where we go to 2 or 3 cities and try to run a one-day camp. I would love to do that.
It would be nice.
I will falo Português um pouco, so I can do some Portuguese if I need to. I just need to practice a little bit. So, but yeah, I would love to. I would say it's probably certainly going to happen. We just have to figure out now how to maneuver it all.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much. All the best for you and your family. Hopefully this crazy time goes by really quick. And just like praying for you guys and wishing the best, man. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much, coach.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a phenomenal opportunity. I would love to speak again if you guys would like to have me back. Otherwise, hopefully this YouTube video can provide a lot of knowledge to people and whatever they need to get out of it. So hopefully that helps as well. But thank you guys as well.
Yeah, man. All right, man. See you later.
All right. See ya. Tchau.
Tchau. E aí, galera, voltando pro português agora. Cara, que live sensacional, né, Dazinho? Foi muito bom, cara.
E o pior é que, tipo assim, eu anotei as perguntas pra fazer, eu anotei umas 15 perguntas, cara. Umas 15 perguntas. Ele respondeu, 12, tá ligado? Perguntas que eu achei que ele não fosse responder. Fugir do básico. E o cara, quantas vezes na semana você deve treinar, off-season e in-season, tá ligado? Eu não esperava que o cara fosse falar isso na live.
E tinha tudo, cara. Enfim, mas só pra galera aí que ficou aqui agora, por favor, se inscrevam no canal. A gente vai continuar fazendo live de todos os tópicos, inclusive de special teams. Continuar fazendo com treinadores brasileiros também. E se sigam lá o Instagram, fca.brasil. O Leozinho também tem o Instagram, aqui, que se quiser acompanhar um pouco da carreira dele aí. Qual que é o teu Instagram, Léo?
Coutinho Beléu, ou Coutinho Bleu, pros íntimos. Pode chegar lá e... E, galera, se vocês não viram os outros vídeos ainda que a gente fez no canal, a gente fez vídeo de corner, de wide, de praticamente todas as posições, então confere no canal que tá tudo salvo aí, tudo direitinho, tudo bonitinho pra vocês aproveitarem.
Mas é isso aí, Deus abençoe e abraço, galera.
Valeu, galera, até a próxima.